What is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? We have another top 5, or actually should I say top 10, coming your way. You guys have been requesting this one for a long time. I'm so glad it's finally here, but we have the top 10 longest golf balls ever tested on the channel. Let's dive in. All right, so let's go over some ground rules as far as what does longest mean. So over the past 4 years, we've tested a variety of golf balls and we've used some different launch monitors over that time. I've also, my swing speeds and change. So there was a lot of math that had to go into this. I know a lot of you were like, hey, just release the top 10. All you gotta do is just filter the numbers. It's not that easy because if I just did that, it wouldn't be fair because like I said, my swing speed has increased. So there was a lot of math and details I had to go into and figure, okay, my average swing speed was that then and this is this now. And so what would it be? And so, but I've been working on it for a while and I'm super excited that we finally have this list. So a lot of you have made the argument that, you know, when I review my golf balls, I have value and design and durability and a lot of that stuff in there. And a lot of you are like, I only care about performance. Like, give me the top 10 longest golf balls, you know. And so this is why this list has been so sought after, is because there's a lot of you that really just only care about that. And so that's what this is. I mean, make no mistake, that's what this is. This is the 10 longest golf balls on the channel. Durability not factored, price not factored, none of that stuff factored. It's just period the longest golf balls. Now, what does that mean by longest? Well, on the channel here, we do 9-iron, 7-iron, 5 hybrid, and driver. The 9-iron I went ahead and excluded because it didn't make a lot of sense. A lot of the golf balls were never tested with a 9-iron. That was something we did halfway through, so they don't have numbers for that. But also, that's a finesse club. You know, I really, with a 9-iron, I'm not looking for distance anyway. I'm looking for spin. I want the ball to get up and spin and stop, and I'm going to be hitting 3/4 shots. But the 7-iron, the 5 hybrid, and the driver, those are about distance. I do care about if I'm squeezing a few extra yards out. So those, essentially what we did was I took, you know, did calculations if it was an older ball, my swing speed was lower, but basically took what the carry distance for 7, 5 hybrid, and driver was, added them all up, and you get a total number of total distance. And that's how I'm ranking them. The one that has the highest is number 1, and the one that, you know, we go on so forth till we get to 10. So, and one last thing, keep in mind, if you're new to the channel here, I review golf balls from the average swing standpoint. I mean, I swing about 95 mile an hour with the driver. That's average. So, you know, I'm not saying this isn't for you if you're a fast swinger, but what I'm saying is don't come in the comments and be like, well, what about the Pro V1 and the Wilson Staff and the TP5? Those are for really fast swingers. They're not, you don't get the same results when you, especially carry-wise, when you're a 95 mile an hour swinger, it just doesn't happen. And so that's why you might not see a lot of tour balls on this list. I just don't have as much success with them, especially when it comes to forgiveness, because I'm reviewing from the human element. I'm not a robot. I'm not hitting the center every single time. There's going to be some off-center hits a little bit, and that's going to calculate as well. And a lot of the time, tour golf balls don't have a lot of forgiveness, so you won't see too many on here. It's a really cool list. I'm excited. Let's dive right in. So let's start, of course, with some honorable mentions. Now, usually I don't do honorable mentions till I get farther, but I wanted to go ahead and get them out of the way. There was a couple golf balls that really were close to making the top 10 that I feel deserve to be talked about. One is the Legato golf ball. So the Legato 3085 is something we tested, you know, a few months ago now, and it's $29.99 for a 3-piece urethane golf ball on Amazon. And if you have not seen that review, you ought to check it out. It is pretty incredible. That is one of my favorites so far of 2024. But the reason it didn't make the top 10 was because although the driver performance was incredible and the 7-iron performance was incredible, the 5 hybrid launched really low, and that affected the carry distance quite a bit. Ball speed really wasn't that bad, but because it launched so low, that carry got affected. And because of that, unfortunately, it just sneaked outside the top 10. But if that had gotten an extra 5 yards from launching a little higher, it might even be in the top 5. So I definitely wanted to mention it. It's an amazing golf ball, especially for distance for the average swinger. Also, I want to mention the Cut Red, another staple piece that's been on the channel for a long time. It just missed by point something, like 0.3. It just missed the top 10. The Cut Red is $1 a golf ball. It's a 2-piece model. They have fixed the issues with the cover. You know, honestly, I'm getting ready to do another retest on it here in maybe a week or two, and it's going to be awesome, but it's one of the favorites on the channel for sure. A lot of people really love it, so definitely check that one out as well. And last but not least, I want to also mention 2 more. The Spectre Zero golf ball. you know, I mean, there's not much to this golf ball. It doesn't spin a lot, but boy, it's long and it's straight. I'll give it that. That's for darn sure. And then the Snell 3.0 actually was from this year. Now, I'm glad the Snell 3.0 tested so well because it is getting a lot of flack right now because of a terrible My Golf Spy review because of the consistency of the cover and stuff. Snell did have to switch factories this year because the old one burnt down last year. It was a big news story. But I do want to let people know, don't give up on Snell just yet. The golf ball still performed really well, and this golf ball barely missed the top 10 as far as total distance. So, and keep in mind, this is a golf ball that had a lot of spin. It's not like it was a two-piece distance golf ball. It spun a lot. So their golf balls are still good. But without further ado, that's our honorable mentions. Now let's get into this top 10. So let's start at number 10. Number 10, the Wright and Ditson, tested in 2024. So when I tested the Wright and Ditson, it was actually someone had messaged me on Instagram and was just like, hey, you should check these out. And I was like, sure, why not? I was in a good mood and I bought them. $29.99 for a 4-piece urethane golf ball. And what's really cool about Wright and Ditson is they have a very vintage, old style feel and look. I mean, they sell baseball caps that are old style. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff here that I'm showing you on the screen, it's amazing. I mean, it's really a traditional, old school type of look, which I'm a big fan of. I love the logo. They also come with these really cool, you know, little icons on the side that help the ball identification a little better, and they're really unique. They're different. I love, you know, the breakfast ball. That's so cool. It's unique, and that's what I really loved about the golf balls a lot. And when I tested them, they jumped off the club. Something I won't mention here, but the Wright and Ditson actually at the time, the 9-iron distance was so high and it was so far and it was so hot coming off the club, I didn't believe the launch monitor. I had to actually go out in my backyard and do a full test to see. And the test, so there was a fence about 135, 140 yards. I cleared the fence by 10 yards. I hit it like 150. It was insane how much that ball speed was. So I know I didn't include the 9-iron, but I just thought I'd tell you. The Wright and Ditson's an amazing golf ball, especially at the value. It's going to end up being a really high on our top 100 list at the end of the year, but I was glad to see it made the top 10. At number 9, we have the Mizuno Tour X 2023. This is another golf ball. I've mentioned it multiple times on the channel now. When I was testing it out, I was having so much fun. The ball just has this springy, bouncy ball feel that just explodes off the club face, and it's really unlike anything I've ever hit, and which is weird because it's an X model golf ball. I don't usually have a lot of success with those, but this one's just different. It's just built different. It's not this clicky tour feel. It's got some rocket power to it, and I remember just hitting it over and over and just getting records and breaking, and I was having so much fun. It put such a smile on my face. So when I was calculating all these numbers up and I did see it get number 9, I wasn't surprised. It actually was 7th in driver distance total, and then, you know, it was top 15 almost in everything else, which really helped it a lot, especially when you consider the pool is 140 golf balls deep at this point. So that's really good, but it doesn't surprise me. The Mizuno, if you're a Mizuno fanboy like I am, it's really cool that Mizuno does have a premium, amazing golf ball on the market, because right now, I'm not a big fan of the 566. The regular Tour model, haven't tested the Max yet, but the old model, the 566V, I wasn't a big fan of either. So I'm glad that Mizuno at least has one ball I can kind of, you know, recommend people who want a Mizuno ball, so that's good to see. Number 8, we have the Sugar golf ball. Now, it doesn't surprise me that Sugar's on this list, because if you saw our top 100 golf ball list, the Sugar actually made number 1, and that's because it does so many things excellent. It does nothing perfect, it just does everything excellent. And surprising enough, it was not top 10 in any of these numbers. I actually had to go back and re-look at it to see and make sure. Driver numbers, maybe not top 10, but just outside. You know, 5 hybrid, not top 10, but just outside. My point is that with all those numbers combined, because it does everything excellent, it sneaks into the top 10 at number 8, and it is an amazing golf ball. Now, I know they've been sold out. They've got more stock coming. I also am going to be reviewing the new model coming out soon as well. I have the G2 Pure, but when that comes, be on the lookout. That's going to be a really interesting model to test. Is it still going to be number 1? Is it still going to be top 10? What's going to happen? Number 7, we have the Srixon Z-Star Diamond, which doesn't surprise me here. You know, I actually am a big fan of the Diamond. At this point, it's my favorite Z-Star ball. I've tested the Z-Star and the Z-Star 15, the new models. Not a fan at all. I don't like how they firmed them up. I don't like what they've done to them. Just not my cup of tea anymore, unfortunately. But When it comes to the Diamond, it is a pure distance model, and boy, it shows it. Now, I didn't get anything crazy, but it was 9th in 5 hybrid speed, which, again, out of 140 is awesome. And just really, again, consistent driver numbers, consistent 7-iron numbers. I actually got more 7-iron distance than I do with a lot of golf balls, and for being a really firm Brooks Koepka, tour level ball, I was super surprised. So Srixon did an amazing job, with the Diamond. I just wish they hadn't changed the regular Z-Star and Z-Star 15 so much. At number 6, we have the Vice Pro Plus 2024. Now this one shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. Right now, this is a potential for a top 3 golf ball. When I tested the new Vice lineup for 2024, I was just absolutely blown away. I could not believe how fast, whether it's the Pro Air, the Pro Plus, how fast the ball jumps off the club, the distance that's gained, the forgiveness that's gotten, the consistency, the accuracy. I had tested the old models and they were good, and so when the new models came out and they were amazing, it honestly left us in limbo for a couple months where myself and the viewers, you guys, were like, was that real? Like, is there something, like, is the new launch monitor messing with us? Like, what we didn't know. Now, here a couple months later, we have robotic testing from Today's Golfer that confirms it as well. These are just amazing golf balls, period. They just are. And so being at number 6 doesn't surprise me at all. It was second in driver distance, carry total, all 140 golf balls, which is awesome. When we get to the top 100 at the end of the year, definitely keep an eye out for Vice, because it most likely will be there a lot. Number 5, we have the Encore Vero X2, another really underrated golf ball that just kind of came out of nowhere. When I tested it, I had already tested the Elixir, which was good, and then I tested the Vero X1. I wasn't really a fan. And then I also had done some testing with the XP, and again, okay, I haven't got to the full testing yet. But when I tested the X2, all of a sudden I got that bouncy ball spring, kind of Mizuno feel a little bit I was just talking about, but ball was just coming off the club like a rocket, and 576.9 was the total yards on that. It was 4th in 5 hybrid distance. I think it was 11th in driver distance. Really amazing numbers coming off the club, and it's also a really good value at $39.99 a dozen. It's just a golf ball that I really didn't have any expectations for. I was trying to just get through it because I was doing the whole Encore line, and although the Vero X2 did not crack our top 10 when it came to our top 100 golf balls, I think it was like 11th or 12th or something. I mean, it was just outside of it, so it's a really awesome golf ball, especially for you faster swingers. Number 4, the Top Flight XL. Yeah, look, here's the thing. Am I going to recommend this golf ball? Not to a lot of people. It's a straight distance golf ball for people who are going to lose a few around. But numbers are numbers, and they don't lie. Number 1 in driver carry, and this golf ball was tested years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. So since then, we've gotten so much better at it. If we were to retest it, I guarantee you I'd probably get more. The reality is that although, it doesn't have a lot of spin, it's not really that durable, the price point's good. But again, the video is not about this. The video is about longest golf ball. And when you add up it being first in driver distance, it is what it is. It has such an advantage just from the get-go on that. It also performed really well with the 7. It also had explosive distance off of the 5 hybrid as well. And with those, it was pretty easy to get to that 579.2 mark. It really was. So again, it is what it is. I'm not going to say the golf ball's amazing. If you're losing a lot of golf balls and you really need help with distance, you're playing a really long course, give them a shot. They're really cheap. I think they're like under $1 a golf ball. Number 3, we have the Snell Get Some. Now this is awesome because I think the Get Some at this point is one of the most underrated golf balls in golf, period. I thought it was already underrated before the 2.0 came out, but the 2.0 got tons of hype because it was a urethane 2-piece golf ball. And so a lot of people were like, oh, and all the focus went to that. And a lot of people forget that the Get Some still even exists. And I'm here to tell you that the Snell Get Some is one of the best golf balls I've ever tested. It ended up in the top 5 when it came to our top 100. It's $19.99 for a dozen golf balls. It's a 2-piece, but it explodes off the club face. It's extremely forgiving. It's extremely accurate. And what I love most about it is I've actually played some of my best rounds. I've broken 80, I think 4 or 5 times now with that golf ball. I've shot some of my best rounds with it. Looking at it, you got, so the 579.7 total. It was second when it came to 5 hybrid carry, you know, and it had really great driver numbers, and the 7 irons were, you know, good for the most part, but just those two things alone really propelled it up. But it's a great golf ball. If a lot of you are looking for a two-piece model that just really checks a lot of boxes and can really lower your score, the Get Some is the real deal. I like it better than the 2.0. Now, I know the 2.0 has the urethane cover, and I know a lot of people are going to want that spin and that grip. I don't have any trouble with the Get Some, though. It's still my golf ball of choice when it comes to two pieces. Number 2, the Maxfli Tour S 2024. So, you know, that's so cool that that happened. And here's the reality, right, is sometimes things change. Sometimes I have a bad day. Sometimes I get a review wrong. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm still human. There's a human error element to all this. Of course there is. When I tested the S initially, I didn't really know who it was for. I didn't get great results with it. I didn't like it. It launched too low for me. But then here we go. We do, you know, a retest in 2024, and now it's the second longest golf ball I've ever tested. Look, it doesn't have a lot of spin, so that's where a lot of this distance comes from. But the reality is 580.6 on your total. It was 5th in 5 hybrid carry, and it was 2nd in 7 iron carry. And, you know, the driver numbers really would have been better if it just had launched higher. It just launched low, and if it had launched a little bit higher, it probably would have had no trouble being number 1, really. I mean, it's a fantastic golf ball. I've used it on the course a couple times. I really like it a lot. Out of the Maxfli Tour line, it's definitely my favorite. Now, I understand a lot of people like the Tour because of the spin. A lot of people like the X because of the total distance if you're a faster swinger. But if you're an average swinger and you're just kind of looking for a, you know, like I said with the Snell, Get Some. Forgiving, get it in the center of the fairway, have some backspin on, you know, some wedge shots. The S is really a golf ball that checks a lot of boxes. So number 1, if you're a subscriber to the channel and you've been here a long time, you can probably guess what number 1 is if you really think about it, just based on, you know, reviews and top 10 and all that stuff. If you're new, you'll never get it. If you're new to my channel, if you're new to all this and you're sitting here like, oh my goodness, well, what could it be? Is it the Pro V1? Is it the this? Is it? You're never going to guess it. Number 1 is the Precept Laddie, 583 yards, and it isn't close. It's not close. It really isn't. I actually took away a couple of the benefits. You know, there's a benefit of swing speed. I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I took that away for this just because it won without it. There was no point even calculating it in. These are just vanilla numbers. The 583 is just vanilla. It would be like 590 if I did the, you know, calculations and the swing speed adjustment and all that. The Precept Laddie, when I tested it, again, was a golf ball that just hit me like a freight train. I was looking for filler content. Someone was like, oh, test the Laddie, you know, they're amazing. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. Let's test it. Whoa. Whoa. And looked at I mean, at the time, it broke every record we had. At the time, it felt like unlike anything ever. It ended up making the top 10, the top 5, and our top 100. A lot of people don't know, but the Precept Laddie is a legit golf ball. It's $1 a golf ball. It explodes off the face. It's first in 5 hybrid distance by far. I mean, 5 hybrid by far. Not even close. And again, not even talked about, but the 9 iron distance at the time was unheard of. I got like 7 or 8 yards more than any other golf ball at the time I had tested this with the 9 iron. Now I know those aren't calculated in. I think it was pitching wedge actually, excuse me, at the time. It wasn't a 9 iron. But my point is that this golf ball just has a ton of spring off of it. It's an amazing distance golf ball for being one that's squishy and has a lot of feel. A lot of people are going to look at it maybe as a replacement for the Wilson Zip. You know, the Wilson Zip's been a long time lovable golf ball on the channel. They're discontinuing it. The Precept Laddie is a great alternative. It explodes off the club face. It still checks up just fine. I mean, like I said before, numbers are numbers. They don't lie. So if you got that right, kudos to you. Otherwise, trust me, I know you didn't get it. There it is, my top 10 longest golf balls ever tested. So again, I'd love, you know, we're still testing a lot of golf balls. We still have a lot more that need to be tested. There are, you know, hopefully some golf balls coming up soon that could crack this top 10, but we won't know. We'll see when we get there. But guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time.